Okay, in your H drive, there's a folder called Layers and Gradient Tool Practice. You're going to open up this file that's in that folder up in the air copy. Once it's open, I want you to take the eyeball off of everything except for the lighthouse balloon. Okay, now what I want everybody to know how to do is to view the rulers. So if you don't have rulers showing at the top and side, you're going to click on View at the top and then click Rulers. Okay, y'all view rulers. Alright, look up here. I'm going to add a guide to this particular document. Let me show you how I do that. First of all, to add a guide, all you do is click on the ruler and drag over and let go. If I wanted to drag one from the top down, I could do that. So it adds these guides, and to move the guides around, I click on the Move tool and move them. But I don't want this guide, so I'm just going to delete that one. I'm going to move it back up. I want to put a guide in the middle of our document. I use this quite often. Hold on one second. So this document you can see is about 8 3/4 inches. So half of that would be 4 and a little less than a half. So I'm going to drag a guide over to about 4 and whatever that would be, 0.33 maybe, 4.33. So to do it, again, watch up here. If you got confused, click on the ruler, drag your mouse over, and then just let it go wherever you want the guide to be. Okay, now I'm going to click on the lighthouse balloon layer. Click on your Move tool, and this is what I use a guide for. If you move the lighthouse over, you see the bounding box? If you line up that middle square on the line, then you know that this lighthouse is right in the middle of your document. Okay. I use guides all the time, especially for text. Like if I wanted to make sure the text is right in the middle, you can just click on it and then it gives you the bounding box, and you can make sure this square is right on the blue line. Alright? Okay, but actually I don't even like this one, so we're going to delete this entire layer. So with the lighthouse balloon layer selected, click on the trash can and click Yes. It's gone. Alright, let's put the eyeball on our yellow striped balloon layer and our black striped balloon layer.
Oh, hold on. This thing is getting frozen so bad.
But actually I want the yellow striped balloon on top of the black striped balloon. To do that, you're going to have to choose that layer, the yellow striped balloon layer, and move that layer up until it's over the black striped balloon.
Yep.
But you'll notice that you can kind of see the black striped balloon through it. That's because the yellow striped balloon layer, the opacity is 85%.
So
We need to increase that to 100% so we can't see through it.
100%?
Yes, so increase your opacity to 100%. Then our black striped balloon is too big, because if it's supposed to be behind it, that means it's further away. And so it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to choose the black striped balloon layer, click on the Move tool, and then resize it just a bit till it's a little bit smaller, and make sure that you hit the link at the top so that it maintains the aspect ratio. And then kind of move it up just a little bit until it looks about like this. Okay, what we want to do next, we're going to work on the background. No, let's not do that. Let's do the green and striped balloon. Go up to the top and put the visibility on the green and striped balloon layer. We're going to change the color of these. So, we're going to add an adjustment layer. Click on the adjustment layer button at the bottom, the one that looks like a Pepsi symbol. Click on Hue Saturation. Now, everybody look up here because I want to show you something. If I change the hue saturation, it changes everything.
Yep.
I don't want it to change everything. I just want it to change that one, the layer right below it, which is the green and striped balloon. So I'm going to click on this clipping layer, and that way it'll only affect that. So click on this little button right here with the down arrow. It's going to add a clipping mask, and now you can kind of move this until you get the balloons the exact color that you want them.
What do we use for that, you say?
When you're done and you like it, I'm recording. Okay. Yeah. Alright, now let's take the eyeball off of everything except for the background layer. Okay, watch this part really carefully. We're going to add a blank layer. So go ahead and click on the new layer button. Drag this new layer all the way to the bottom so that it's just on top of the background layer. Okay. We're going to add a gradient to layer 1 so that it looks more like a sky. To do that, we have to choose the two colors that we want in the gradient because a gradient is moving from one color to the other gradually. So we want to choose a foreground and a background color that look like the sky. So we're going to click on the Set Foreground Color, which is this little bitty square in the bottom left-hand corner of your toolbar. Mine's currently white. Click on that. Then you're going to choose some color of blue that you like. And then hit OK. Then we're going to choose, y'all ready? Okay, you chose a foreground color. Okay, look up here for this part because we're going to do something different. We're going to click on the background color square, but instead of choosing another color of blue over here, we want it to match that first blue. So we're going to click on the first blue we chose, the foreground color square. But we don't want it to be the same exact color, otherwise the gradient wouldn't work. It would just be one color fill. So I'm going to go to the brightness of this new color, and I'm going to decrease it to about 50. That way it'll be darker. Same shade, but just a little bit darker. And then I'm going to hit OK. The brightness is the B. So now you have two different colors here, foreground and background, that are the same shade of blue. One's just a little darker. Okay? Now we have to choose the gradient fill selection tool. So it's in the middle area. It's probably under the paint bucket. You might have to right click on the paint bucket. Otherwise you might see gradient tool. You're going to click on it. At the top, you're going to make sure that the first one is selected. That kind of looks like a sideways horizon. And then you'll probably start at the top of the page and go down. Now the shorter your line, the more noticeable it'll be. So yeah, however you want it to look. Okay, now to add a filter to make it look even more realistic, make sure you're on layer 1, the one that you just added the gradient to. Go up to the top where it says filter. Go down to render. Then click on lens flare. And then look up here, you can kind of move the sun around wherever you think the sun should be. I put mine in the top right corner, sort of. And then there's lens where you can change the brightness. And then there's lens types. If you click on each one, it'll show you kind of what it's going to look like.
Where?
Oh,
Okay.
Under filter, render, lens flare. Yes. The importance of living. Alright, if you don't exactly love it, it's too much, you can obviously decrease the opacity as much as you want to like make it look more natural or less natural. But I kind of like mine, so I'm going to leave it up. Alright, then we are going to add the eyeball back to the black striped balloon, the yellow striped balloon, the green and striped balloon, and your hue saturation mask. So now you got your stuff there. Okay. Now let's add the eyeball back to going up in a hot air balloon text.
Oh well, can I put it in a different way?
We are all going to put it in a different thing.
Oh yeah, cause
To select all the text, do y'all remember what to do?
but the thing.
Yes, you double click the T on the text layer. So do that. Let's increase the font size to 36. Okay? Click on the check mark. Click on your move tool.
hold on.
Drag it all the way to the left. It's going to be underneath some balloons probably, but drag it all the way to the left.
What size of the
36.
6?
Then I'm going to take that layer, the going up in a hot air balloon layer, and move it to the very top because I want it to be on top of my balloons and not underneath them.
How do you change the?
Okay, next let's work on the other text. Go down to there's nothing like it and add the eyeball to that. double click the T to select that text, change the size to 36, which is up at the top,
Wait, hold on, I don't see.
hit the check mark,
Where's the color of those letters?
click on the move tool, and move it to the bottom right hand side. So the top one is aligned to the left and the bottom one is aligned to the right.
Wait a minute.
Got it? Also, we want that layer to be above the hot air balloons so that it's on top of it and not behind it. So I'm just going to drag it all the way up to the very top so that...
Yeah, there's no color to mine there.
Okay, obviously you can't see some of the text because it's going over the balloon. It's hard to read. So what we're going to do is we're going to add layer styles to these text layers. There's a couple different ways to do that. You know, if you double click the T, it's going to select the text, so don't do that. If you double click the name of the layer, it's going to select the name, so don't do that. But if you can find like a blank spot and double click, it'll pull up your layer style box. Another way to do it is to go to layer, layer style, and then just choose blending options or the first one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, move that box just kind of out of the way so that you can see this text. Oh, we're on the nothing, there's nothing like it, right? All right. If you click on Bevel and Emboss, take a look at what it does
Oh, yeah.
to the text. See that? Okay, you could do that. Click on stroke, the word stroke. No, I want you to do this real quick.
It's cool, but it's too dark.
It's too dark, so
Yeah.
click on the word stroke and it's going to pull up the stroke menu. On the stroke menu, you can see that it's trying to add a stroke around it that's black, so let's click on that and I'm going to maybe change it to a color that matches. So I'm just going to pull my mouse out to the balloon so that I can copy one of the colors that's on the balloons. And then hit OK. And then I'm going to change the size all the way down to like 1. Alright. Yes. Yeah, if you don't want it quite so... And actually, I'm going to change mine to white because up on this top balloon, it might not work well. I'm just going to change it to white. Okay.
Yay!
After you add the stroke, you might want to bevel and emboss it also. I don't know.
If you want to.
If you want. Maybe a drop shadow. I like a drop shadow. Oh yeah, I'm going to do a drop shadow.
Where's the drop shadow?
It's down at the bottom.
There we go.
No, you just have to do the stroke. Okay. Even if you're not finished, watch this real quick. I'm going to show you how you don't have to do it to each layer. After you've got it done to one layer and it shows you all of the things you've added, if you right click, you can copy a layer style and then go to another layer, right click and paste a layer style. Now the top layer also looks like that. So when you're done, I want you to save this as a JPEG.